Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. It's me, Snoops, here, coming back at you with two different builds in this one, because this is a Jason Kidd Shades of build. So I was messing around in the builder after, doing some extensive research and experimenting with NBA player builds. And specifically, I was doing some research on this stuff with Gary Payton, where I came up with a bunch of good information when it comes to actually getting shades of for certain players. So without further ado, I might as well just go ahead and get right into the two different builds, because one of them is the shades of the Mavericks version, his second stint of the Mavericks, where he was number 2, which is this first build here. 6'4", 180 pounds, because I just didn't really touch it that much from earlier when I was messing around with Gary Payton builds. Because if you guys didn't know, in order to get shades of Gary Payton, you have to be 6'4", 180 pounds, and your wingspan has to be at least 6'8" or longer. So this particular build was just kind of building off of that, just making it a little bit different. So with this version of the build, I was just kind of focusing around not on anybody specifically, but focusing on an idea of a build that could be just pretty dang solid for a main defensive playmaking focused point guard, kind of like a pass first defensive point guard. So it's like with this build, I decided to go with the 60 post control as well, just to get a little bit of a post spin technician. Not only that, but it's like, having post fade phenom. So if I just find myself in a sticky situation, I can just post fade on out of there in the mid range, because there ain't going to be a lot of guards that can defend the post fade. They're not really going to expect the post fade either. So it's a little bit of a curveball, but also it's just there in general, just to be able to hit some post spins on some guards, because also the chance of them having any interior defense is close to fucking none, because you have to be 6'6" or taller. So if you're facing another guard that is 6'5" or shorter, for sure they're not going to have post lock at all, so they won't be able to defend the post spin. Anyway, just in general though, we did get the 60 post control, but we went with a 70 close shot, just because why not? In general, because everything else is just kind of, perfect where I've wanted them to be at. And I also was trying to make sure that everything was set perfectly for certain thresholds that I was reaching, and also trying to make sure that certain other stats are reaching their thresholds to be able to get the shades of. Because after I got the shades of the first time, I was messing around with the stats, seeing what stats are supposed to be where in order to get the shades of this particular Jason Kidd. So I got the 85 driving layup as well, and I know that the original version of this particular build here, and I will show you guys this. So this is practically the Google Doc that I'm using, where I'm just, I'm making builds, and then whoever just pops up. Sometimes I'll just go to their template and the play now roster and do all that stuff, but it just depends on how I'm wanting to make a build. If I'm wanting to make a build specifically based on a player, then I'll just do the template and the play now roster before I go into the build. But in this case, I went with the build first, and then just finding a player, and then going to the template, and then seeing how close I was to the actual template to see what changes could have been made. But the template version, surprisingly, even though there's some things that are pretty damn close, or even exact for the most part, it's a little crazy how close I got it without even knowing the original template. But also, these are two different shades of, so two different versions of Jason Kidd that have the shades of, and I'll show you obviously the template version that I also did tweak just slightly, not too much really at all for it to really matter, but I did tweak it a little bit. So here we have the 85 driving layup, pretty good. Giant Slayer, Hall of Fame. We also got Hall of Fame Scooper, Pro Touch, Float Game on Gold is really solid, really solid stuff there. Went with the 82 mid-range. The reason why is because we get that gold guard up and gold catch and shoot. Catch and shoot on gold is very, very solid, especially when you are shooting from the 3. Now, this particular build has a 79 3-point rating. Why? Because, you know, the 79 gives you blinders as well. So if you can, get it up to a 79. 80 doesn't really give you anything last time I remember. So I don't really think there's a point in getting it to an 80 and just sacrificing something else just for the 80. So if you can at least get it to like a 76, 76 is a really, really good threshold for shooting. You can still be really, really solid with a 76, but ultimately in the end, getting to a 79 is, you know, going to be your best bet if you still want to be able to shoot a little bit more consistently than with the 76, but also only do it if you can get the threshold for the 79. We also want the 75 free throw because, you know, this particular version, afterwards, I'm like, okay, well, at least I have a 75 free throw, which is still pretty good. You can still green if you have, you know, your timing down for your animation. Same thing with like even the lower, like sub 70 as well. But 75 is just really good threshold. You still get free points. So you can at least still hit free throws in the clutch a little bit easier as well. So there you have it. That's the only reason why that's like that. And then we get to the pass accuracy, which we have an 84 pass accuracy just for needle threader alone. And I talk about this a lot before when it comes to pass accuracy and having a 77 pass accuracy being a really, really good threshold. But with this, I wanted it to, you know, have obviously more of a playmaking ability. I wanted it to be like a pass first, while also being able to score in the paint with my driving layup and everything, but also shoot threes or shoot mid ranges if I have the open shot, obviously. So on top of that, getting the 84, so I have needle threader at least as well, and, you know, touch passer, all this stuff. I know I talk about how there's like no point in doing it, but we got at least to the 84, which is where I would, you know, want the next threshold to be, is the 84, because, you know, relay passer isn't, you know, too crazy, which I do believe that's what, okay, so it's an 89. I thought it was like an 85. What was in 85 or whatever it was? Or maybe I'm mistaken and it was the 84. Yeah, I think it was the 84 threshold that I was thinking of. So pretty good for needle threader, getting to 84. But having an 87, however, for bailout, if you are able to get that, cool. But I don't really think it was 100% necessary for the build and everything. So I just went with the 84 just to reach that next threshold for needle threader. Pretty solid there. Next, for ball handling, we went with an 87 because killer combos. That's the only reason why. And also because with the 87, we just get like the shot creating name and all that stuff. So there you guys have it. There's some information for you on build names. But for the most part, we do get ankle breaker on gold because we got the 85 plus. We get triple strike as well on gold, and then everything else is pretty much silver. So pretty solid stuff there. Nothing too crazy though. Next up, we have the 83 speed with ball, which does give us the ability to have hyperdrive on gold, as well as speed booster silver, blow by on silver, and triple strike on gold as well. So that's some pretty solid stuff there. And the 83 is mainly for hyperdrive. So there you have it. So for defense is pretty insane because we do have a high interior defense with the 66. Not like it's going to be super, super crazy, but I felt like it would be kind of nice to have like an interior defense and a block rating, just because I thought it would be pretty cool, even though we're not able to, you know, get post lockdown or anchor for that matter, because we'd still, well, actually we won't be able to get anchor at all. Even if we were 6'7" with these particular attributes, just because we would need a 77 block rating, but obviously it'd probably be a little bit easier that way, if we wanted to do it that way, but it's not really, we would have to sacrifice something else, and I don't really care to do much, to do all that, because we're just going to focus on being a really, really good perimeter defender. But the interior defense does indeed help us a little bit as well, so that's pretty solid there. We have the 68 block though, so we can at least, you know, defend the paint and get some chase down blocks. But For the most part, like I mentioned, we have a lot of perimeter defense. We have a 92 perimeter defense, not a 93, because obviously every other threshold is pretty fucking specific, so that's the only reason why. So with the 92, we don't get the 93 for Hall of Fame or gold clamps, but the 92 does give us that fast feet on gold, which is pretty damn solid. So we have 94 feet, ankle braces, challenger, fast feet, pick, dodger, workhorse, all on gold, which is pretty damn good. We also have off-ball pest on Hall of Fame because we have a 90-plus perimeter defense. And then clamps is just still silver, which is still pretty good because in order to get a gold, you need a 93 plus. So if we were able to get that, if we wanted to sacrifice something else, especially with like maybe our finishing and whatnot, we could get the 93, but obviously when it comes to attributes and everything and reaching some thresholds, especially for me then trying to do the Jason Kidd stuff, then it wouldn't be great because it would just get rid of the Jason Kidd shades of there if I were to sacrifice too much of other things. But the steal rating being a 91, just so we can get glove on gold. We have interceptor, right stick gripper, so we're going to be a defensive monster. We already mentioned the 68 block, and then we got a 60 rebound, so we can, grab rebounds a little bit easier. So, if I happen to be near the paint or in a position where the ball's just like going off of a long bounce and it's a long rebound, I can, pretty much get a chance to chase the rebound down a little bit easier and help us grab some more rebounds on the defensive end, especially on those long rebounds. But we got the 82 speed. The 82 speed is pretty good for hyperdrive, practically what it's required. And then we also have speed booster that is on silver. Acceleration is only a 77, mainly for the fact that we can get fast feet with it. Nothing too crazy other than that. Spot finder would be like the only other thing that you would get next at an 80 at that next threshold. So I don't really think there was a point in bringing it up to an 80. It's not going to be that crazy. You're going to be main ball handler anyway. You're going to be the playmaker. You're not going to be trying to run around on the perimeter trying to get yourself open. I mean, you can obviously still with silver, but it's not like you're forcing yourself to try and get open on the three. You're trying to get everybody else open. So strength being a 55, which is good because that gives us fearless finisher. So it gives us that extra ability to finish at the rim a little bit easier, just in case there's a little bit of contact. Then we have the 60 vertical, which obviously the 60 vertical gives us chase down artist, and we have aerial wizard, which aerial wizard isn't going to matter that much. And then the 99 stamina, which obviously gives us the ability to get the gold workhorse, 94 feet, and silver handles for days badges. So overall, I feel like it is a pretty good and a pretty solid build here, but you guys are going to be able to see that it is the number 2 Jason Kidd version, 2-way 3-level shot creator. I like the name of this build. It is a pretty solid build. I definitely do believe this is a really good build in my personal opinion. It's pretty solid if you know how to play that play style, and that's like, the play style that you are comfortable with playing. It's a very, very solid build. All right, so next we have the 2-way inside the arc maestro, which obviously I have changed some of the stats around a little bit, but these are pretty much the default height, weight, and wingspans. Didn't really touch those. The only thing that's like really different is the stats. So the stats here, 64, 85 on the driving layup. So just a little bit less close shot there. We got a higher post control here, so we can get a higher post spin technician, which is pretty cool. And we also got the silver post fade phenom as well as just a slightly higher mid range than before. We went from an 82 to an 84. Giving us the ability to get that mini magician on gold and Deadeye on silver. Then, as I mentioned before, with the 76 3-point rating, which is pretty good. So we have the 76 3-point rating here. just so we can get that agent threes. But, I mean, that's just practically like the only reason why you'll go to the 76 besides corner specialist. If you don't really care about corner specialist, then whatever. But 76 is good for corner specialist on silver as well, just so you can hit the shots a little bit more easier. Because if you're going to shoot threes a lot, you're more than likely going to be in the corner if you don't have a super high 3-point rating. Because in the corners, you should have like the 3-point shooters that have the lower 3-point rating in all of you guys. So the two weakest 3-point ratings in the corners. Then obviously your better 3-point shooters on the wings. So that's just the way that I see it with the spacing. That way, if you're running like a 5 out, then you can have, main ball handler in the middle. And then you can have like one, big man in one corner, maybe like a Ray Allen on the wing, and so on and so forth. You guys understand what I'm saying. But here with the free throw, we also have a higher free throw of an 80 this time around, getting silver free points. And then we have some higher playmaking here, just in general, with the 95 pass accuracy. 95 pass accuracy, obviously giving us gold bailout, Hall of Fame relay passer, and Hall of Fame touch passer, as you can see there. But also, it's like we still have the gold needle threader, still have the gold dimer as well. Pretty solid stuff all around. Then we have the 87 ball handling, so same thing as before. So nothing too crazy. We have physical handles on silver, triple strike on gold, ankle breaker on gold, everything else silver as well. Nothing too different here. And then speed with ball, man. Like speed with ball being a 77 on this build, because obviously like I said, I changed some of the stuff around on the build. So this is one of the stats that I did change up, where I dropped it down from an 83 to a 77. So it's like we're not going to be able to get like, some of the animations that you would be able to get on the other version of the build. And you're going to be just a tad bit slower. But for the most part, you still get triple strike on gold. You're not going to get hyperdrive on gold, but everything else practically still stays the same. And then here, interior defense being a 65, practically the same concept as before. This time around, we don't have a 92 perimeter defense and instead an 89. So we don't have fast feet or pick dodger on gold. And we don't have off-ball pest on Hall of Fame. But we do have everything else like practically on gold, similar. So the only difference is here is fast feet isn't gold, pick dodger isn't gold, and off-ball pest isn't Hall of Fame. Those are practically like the main differences. Steal rating is exactly the same. Nothing crazy there. No block rating this time around. No block. And then only a 47 defensive rebound. So no rebound chaser on this one. And here we have an 81 speed and 80 acceleration. So we do get the spot finder on this version. We get a 63 strength on this. So indeed we can get that physical handles on silver. Then we get 51 vert, so lower vert, and still the 99 stamina as before. But the only main difference in between the last build and this build is that we have the number 5 New Jersey Nets Jason Kidd. So there you also have it. I mean, two-way inside the arc maestro. We also have Kirk Heinrich on here as well. Pretty cool. I mean, pretty easy to get. You can get Kirk Heinrich pretty easily in your shades of. I typically tend to get him literally like all the time when making point guard builds. So yeah, anyway, this is the 2 Jason Kidd builds. Let me know what you guys think of these builds in the comment section below. Tell me which one is your favorite. And yeah, let me know if there's like any other specific players you guys want me to try and make and get the shades of. Let me know of just like certain play styles. If you guys have any questions on badge thresholds for attributes for certain positions and whatnot, let me know in the comment section below. I'll try to get to your comments. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. I'll see you all in the next one.